Hello. In today's video, we're going to talk about something magical, something that enchants us, that almost all of us want to experience, and that we also love to watch in movies and TV shows. Yes, I'm talking about the noblest of feelings, love. When you see certain scenes in movies, what do you think? Love is a beautiful thing. Well, I don't mean to be a party pooper, but that isn't love. It's the waiting room, infatuation. And to explain this theory, I'm going to use the ultimate classic, Pride and Prejudice. The movie times Pride and Prejudice times is an adaptation of Jane Austen's masterpiece. The story takes place in rural England in the early 19th century and focuses on the Bennet family, which consists of a neglectful father, a mother obsessed with marrying off her daughters, and 5 sisters with completely different personalities. Since the family estate can only be inherited by a male heir, the young women's future depends entirely on making good marriages. Lizzie, the second daughter, is a young woman with a strong personality who, despite the historical context and her family situation, won't do just anything just to get married. Our focus today will be Fitzwilliam Darcy. Through him, we are going to explain the stages of love. Let's start with the first one. Attraction at first sight. From a biological perspective, in those few seconds, what happens is an ultra-fast brain activation. In about 0.2 seconds, the brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline. From that point on, psychology kicks in. At that moment, the person who is the focus of our attention becomes our first and last thought. Our brain gathers everything we know about them, which is usually next to nothing, and our imagination projects all the rest. At this point, Darcy is already screwed. He is completely infatuated, an intense, strong, and beautiful feeling. I love you, most ardently. Please do me the honor of accepting my hand. This declaration is beautiful, breathtaking. But even though he says he loves her, we cannot claim that this feeling, as beautiful as it may be, is love just yet. In infatuation, the focus isn't on who the person is, but rather on how they make us feel. Love is the exact opposite. We want to know the person, and we want them to know us. Love is a feeling that needs to go through the test of self-giving, like gold that must pass through the fire to become pure. After the shock and humiliation of the first rejection in the rain, Mr. Darcy's attitude changes completely. Instead of shutting down in his wounded pride, or retaliating with the same aggressiveness, he begins a silent process of self-examination. To win Elizabeth's heart, he doesn't use grand intellectual courtships or social pressure. He acts through practical deeds, respect, and a deep internal transformation. The day after the rejection, Darcy doesn't try to verbally beg for Elizabeth's forgiveness. Instead, he delivers a letter to her, in person. No strings attached. In the letter, he doesn't ask her to change her mind about the marriage. Clarification of the facts. He explains, coldly and factually, her 2 accusations. First, he reveals Wickham's manipulative and cruel character, who had tried to seduce his 15-year-old sister, Georgiana. Second, he admits his interference between Bingley and Jane, confessing that he honestly believed Jane did not love his friend. Months later, thinking Darcy is away travelling, Elizabeth visits his estate, Pemberley, along with her aunt and uncle. Darcy returns early and surprises them. This is where his changes become evident. Politeness and humility. Instead of treating her with his former aristocratic aloofness, he is incredibly courteous and shows no resentment. Welcoming her aunt and uncle, the old Darcy despised Elizabeth's middle-class relatives. The new Darcy invites Uncle Gardner, who works in trade, to fish on his estate, and treats her aunt and uncle with the utmost respect, bringing the families closer. He makes a point of introducing Elizabeth to his sister, Georgiana, showing that he trusts her and wants her close to his family. The final blow that disarms Elizabeth's heart happens when her youngest sister, Lydia, runs away with Wickham, a scandal that could ruin the reputation of the entire Bennet family forever. Upon learning this, Darcy acts behind the scenes, without anyone knowing. He hunts down the couple, Darcy uses his influence and money to find Wickham and Lydia in the slums of London. He buys the marriage. He pays off Wickham's massive debts and buys him a commission in the army, basically bribing him to marry Lydia and save the Bennets' honor. The anonymity. Darcy demands absolute secrecy. He didn't do this to buy Elizabeth's love. He did it out of love for her, willing to see his own reputation tied to Wickham's if it meant protecting the woman he loved. He was able to listen to her harsh criticisms and change to become a better man. He loved her enough to protect her family, even when that family brought him shame. He possessed a nobility of character that went far beyond social status. When Darcy finds out, through the meddling of his aunt, Lady Catherine, that Elizabeth defended him, he gains the courage needed to walk through those misty fields at dawn and make his second proposal, knowing that, this time, they both were ready. You are too generous to trifle with me. If your feelings are still what they were last April, tell me so at once. My affections and wishes are unchanged, but one word from you will silence me on this subject forever. If, however, your feelings have changed, I would have to tell you that you have bewitched me, body and soul, and I love you, and never wish to be parted from you from this day on. Now, we can finally say that Darcy loves. He did everything simply because he loves her. He accepts her exactly as she is. Now, at last, he is ready to give Lizzie a love that can withstand anything.